The next person I would like to introduce is Johnny Buck, the BIPOC Health Careers from BIPOC Health Careers Ecosystem, Native Youth Leadership Alliance, to come and give us an introduction to our summit day one. Johnny, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Bryant, and thank you, Raquel, for your brilliant and important leadership and support for all of our communities on behalf of Senator Patty Murray's office. My name is Johnny Buck, and Eswa Nixa Lamquesqua and Eswa Yakayaksa Waunasipa. I'm from the Wanapum and Yakama tribes in Eastern Washington. So it's a difficult time to navigate. The COVID pandemic that we have been enduring has changed us in many different and same ways as individuals, families, organizations, teams, communities, schools. Amidst so much suffering, there are beacons of beauty and hope that emerge. My community was hit very hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. We endured 100 plus deaths of family members, many elder community members, and the grief and loss is substantial. I'm actually a survivor of the COVID-19 virus, and as I was let know that I was infected, I was immediately isolated, and the was at the 8th level of a hotel, and so I went in there, and the windows couldn't open, right, and it was quiet, and I was there for the duration. It was lonely, but I had family and friends communicating with me mostly via text. But it was quiet, and I had a lot of time to think, right, in that room. My my partner was bringing food and leaving it at the door. I was away from my daughter while she continued online schooling. But it was a difficult time, and I mostly ordered food to be delivered and left at the door because everyone else had busy lives too that they had to take care of. Uh, um, and I tried to turn the TV on, but it was just like a lot of noise, and it wasn't productive for me at that time. So I turned it off, and I wanted to be present with myself and understand what was really happening, what I was going through. So I had time to reflect, um, and I was waiting for people to communicate with me, right? Because I was isolated, and there were people, um, but I thought about it because that there was a time. What comes to mind are these black body bags, because my father is a spiritual leader and helps with the celebration of life ceremonies. So I was thinking, just reflecting on how this was affecting us, and experiencing so much loss, and now I was going through it. Uh, but there was a time that was super difficult because we had buried um, 14 people in 1 week in these black body bags, right? And it was something where it was distant. We were isolated. These people had passed, um, uh, sometimes just alone by themselves, and we had to communicate via social media, or that way, electronically. Um, but during this time, my community and my family came closer together to look after, to pray, take care of each other, and protect each other. The health disparities my community faces were emphasized and campaigned during this time. And it is because of the structural racism, the institutional racism, the systemic racism that we face. And it's a constant oppression. It's a constant weight or burden that we take on every single day. Well, it I began reaching out to people while I was in the, and you know what? Some of these people I never reached out to in a long time, right? But when I did, it was just like the speaking of light. right? The importance of relationships and reaching out to people was really becoming something that lit people up. And I was like, oh, wow. It's because our time moves so fast, right? We communicate differently now. It's Zooms, it's telephone, it's text, it's all of these other different ways. And these communications are fairly short, right? And sometimes ambiguous because we're doing it through typing and writing, right? So we don't get to have meaningful conversations. So that's what I did. I intentionally reached out to people. And I learned, growing up in a small village in Eastern Washington, relationships were important. This was like some of the foundational values that we learned as growing up. Is called Baba Tamak, Baba Atawit, to respect each other, to love each other. Baba Naknuisha, to take care of each other. And I know that you all have these values too around relationships because it's being demonstrated right now as we speak. Um, the relationships at a cross-sectoral level uh, to make a greater impact on the work that we're doing, addressing some of the most dire social issues and social inequities. So I encourage the relationships that we have with each other, and maybe to reach out to spread that love, have a more meaningful conversation with each other. So we have with when we talk about land, the land is a part of who we are. It's a mixture of our blood, our past, our current, and our future. We carry our ancestors in us, and they're around us, as you all do. At this time, I'm humble, excited, and honored to contribute to this fantastic gathering of people working. The land that surrounds us is a part of who we are. It reflects our histories. We need to protect indigenous traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people, past and present, and honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. Their nearby lands utilized as well, including the Muckleshoot, Puyallup, and the host organization, the host institution here from college. They're on the lands of my relatives, the Lummi Nation and the Nooksack Nation. And tribal nations negotiated government to government, preserving their sovereign land, rights, and privileges through treaties. When land wasn't ceded through good faith efforts, it was often stolen from our indigenous relatives. The United States government carried out genocide, ethnic cleansing, and forced removal against the indigenous peoples as a way to acquire the land. They broke promises despite centuries of colonial theft and violence. This is still indigenous land. It will always be indigenous land. So thank you for taking the time for acknowledging the land we are on. Be brave, have courage in your activities together, and have a fantastic gathering. Thank you.